Today I want to talk about a facet of how my philosophy is the most tested or proven on earth. And I'm going to talk about an avenue that's very difficult for me to talk about, which has to do with some failings within our American systems. I say this in a loving sense. And mostly this emotionally abusive system set up by my family. And again, I say it with love because I pray for those people. I'm not condemning. I'm sharing my story and shedding light in terms of how you can turn challenge, how our philosophy is so proven, and you can turn challenges into opportunities as I did, and also shine light on emotional abuse, which is important. So, most of my efforts are really to bring about a better psychology, a better spiritual sense. And by spiritual, I mean just the energy, the purpose, the dedication that we bring forth in the world. And we see that America and the world is ailing in some ways right now, And I have this extraordinary story that its roots, I don't know all the roots, but a lot of them seem to start, for one, with my younger brother, David Nathan Myers, and his wife, Nomi Stolzenberg, who, as far back as, 1984, thereabouts, started to come at me and kicked it into high gear in 1988. And the best he lived 3,000 miles away. He had successes in his life. There's no reason, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, which has only grown over time to a compassionate genius, it was just a rage and a jealousy and his wife, who, was a very high Harvard Law graduate, they had brilliance and understandings of their own, I think just had this extreme competitive sense that she didn't want to see anyone appear smarter than her, anything like that. As I say, I was 3,000 miles away. I had no interest in that kind of discussion. But that started this process where the family started to castigate and demonize. And, for anybody who's gone through emotionally abusive situations and knows what's like, they call a black sheep of the family, but it just began piling on and piling on. And so in 1996, my ex-wife, with their urging, started this whole separation and divorce thing. We had two beautiful little kids, and, so it's a lot worth fighting for in the situation. And, but even more than my ex-wife was my family with all this energy. And as I've said before, I came from these very deep roots in Scranton, PA, 4 grandparents, all within a 6-block area, school, all this, activities, just all this together. And they came from my throat. And I think that, so there was a combination of, and the message in the court systems and divorce are very erratic, and again, I'm saying this all lovingly for the courts, for America, for my family. If anything, I pray for people to get the message to improve. I'm not trying to condemn anybody. I'm just being honest as a matter of my own self-expression and how my philosophy came about. So between the courts, my brother, his wife, my family, it created this crucible of hostility around my life that has come at me, for 29 years in a lot of ways. And so when I talk about emotional abuse, so, it's kind of taking false opinions of people drawing their energy of, something called narcissistic supply, they actually gain life and in a sadistic sense draw energy from hurting you and falsely castigating you and this kind of thing. So people need to put, the people who need to put another person down and this kind of thing for their own, faux satisfaction, right? So, and this process, but it just went on for 29 years where people needed to castigate and ostracize me. and, make me into a black sheep. And where, the line I drew was at the point of fairness and purpose. And so, when I say tested, I had this extraordinary pressure against me, and I made a decision that I was going to take it on and fight for fairness. So I have 1,000 tales of different stories and situations where my philosophy and my strength was tested, and I had so many people come at me. And I think that one part of how proven my philosophy is that just that pressure between, they had lawyers and they would influence the legal system, and guardian ad litem or psychiatrists to evaluate situations, and again, my family unrelentingly working to try to cut me off from my children. I mean, just crazy stuff. The things, when I talk about them, people say, they don't make, they just defy logic. Nobody would really do that. And that's the realm of emotional abuse, is that it does defy logic. And people point on their, the fact that they have money, they have prominence in society, so they continually leverage and push situations in a way to make you appear like you're the one who's doing something wrong, and you're being scapegoated. And this has gone on for 29 years. And, to the degree that I speak today, without rancor, without, even with prayer for them, with the twin parameters I adopted long ago of fairness and forgiveness. I want fairness in my situation and some realm of forgiveness for them. That, it's kind of how I was tested as an individual, and how I grew and changed. So out of it, I developed many philosophies, developed what I call compassionate genius understanding of today's psychology. And I really gear my presentation towards most people. I believe most people are good. And I believe a lot of people are being swept away with this narcissism, even psychopathic mentality that exists in the culture, that are being dealt with unfairly. And so I stand for fairness. And that's where our work, where I go to the website, take a look at our quick start coaching, that people can learn to deal with challenging situations, learn how to take a stand appropriately, learn how to turn challenges into opportunities. The essence of my work, to really help people grow to another level. And the key is, if you're dealing with, you're being ostracized, you're dealing with extreme narcissists, you're dealing with very challenging situations, one of the keys, or huge keys, are to learn how to develop it assertively, not aggressively, not passively, your presentation. And further, you have to deal with it appropriately. Deal it appropriately. You can't get angry. So the bottom line is, I'm very thankful, I'm very happy this has all occurred, because it brought me to a much deeper place and better place within myself. And it guided me over the course of 29 years to a place where I can help other people. And I can teach people to develop, this strength and this assertiveness and this appropriate assertiveness, because I don't know everything, but I know. There's what I call a spiritual virus these days. And if ordinary companies, families, and individuals do not develop the emotional, spiritual, psychological wherewithal to stand for yourselves, you're going to get eaten up by it. So go to our website, take a look at our training, coaching, and mediation. Get in touch. We even have a quick start coaching. I'd love to see, because I want people to start to get this philosophy. It is the most proven on earth, and you're going to benefit from it.